gosh. It's all over, folks. Finally, we're back up and running after messing with this all day. I just absolutely was having a terrible time getting those capacitors in. My soldering iron, which I thought was hot enough, apparently was not. And the solder wasn't sticking, and my flux was missing, and it was a pain in the ass. But I finally got it all together after a lot of headache. In fact, I have a pretty bad headache right now. But it's all back together, and if we go in here, we see we've got a Phenom 2 X4940 running at 3 gigahertz, which is correct. And I've got 6 gigs of RAM now, which is pretty sweet. And the reason why that's sweet is because I had originally thought that one of the sticks was bad. This was months ago. Or maybe, no, that would have been over a year ago. So I took the stick out after I ran mem test and kind of guessed which stick it was based on where it failed or where it had errors in the test. Took that stick out, everything was fine. Mem test cleared and everything. So I've been running with 3 sticks of RAM since then. And I had that stick sitting around for whatever reason and decided I would throw it back in. The reason why I threw it back in was one of the capacitors that I replaced that it was blown was right next to the memory banks. And my theory is that that particular capacitor had something to do with the power, smoothing out the power for the memory or something like that. It had to do something. I don't know why they would stick it over there right next to him, out of the way, if it was meant for something else. So it had to have something to do with those. And I'm thinking maybe that stick was totally fine. And something was just messed up with having the 4 sticks in there. Maybe I thought I had just guessed correctly at taking that one out. Anyway, so I put it back in, and obviously it still says, it always said, that I have 6 gigs of RAM, but it would fail mem test with that stick in there. And the first thing that I did when I got this computer back together and realized, yes, it is booting, and yes, my processor shows up correctly, was run mem test. And it ran through it 2 passes with no errors, and I know it was giving me an error before, so we're going to see if that holds. Hopefully that stick really is good and that capacitor really was at fault. And if not, I'm not really out anything. I feel better for having a good capacitor in there instead of a blown one. So that's scary. Anyway, right now excuse me, I'm all burpy. Installing Planetside 2 again, which is taking forever because it's 8.5 gigabytes, I think, of download. I installed it a while back, and it just did not run correctly. It was way too slow and just jerky and absolutely unplayable. And that was with the 4 gigs of RAM, so the 3 sticks that I had remaining. 4 gigs of RAM and the old processor. So we're going to see if the Phenom 2 quad-core 3 gigahertz processor and 2 extra gigs of RAM will at least let me try this game instead of shutting it off immediately because it was unplayable. So I think I also want to attempt Metro 2033 again. That didn't run very well and I never really got into it. I want to try that again. I think that'll run a lot better too. So anyway, I've been talking too long for absolutely no reason. This is a really boring video, but I thought I would give everyone an update and ramble for like 4 minutes, and I've already done that. So here's my computer, and it's back in the corner, and it works, and things show up. My score also went up on here. Obviously it's still 5.9 because I have a regular hard drive and not an SSD, but processor used to be 6.1 with the old processor. That's the top one, processor. And the RAM, I believe, was also doesn't seem like it would go down, because this is memory operations per second. So why would that one go up if I added RAM? Because it'd be the same speed RAM. I don't know. Anyway, processor definitely went up when I did that. So, not that I give half of a shit about Microsoft's, what do they call this thing? Windows Experience Index. It's retarded. I hate it. Disk transfer rate. So just because I have a real regular hard drive means that my computer is always going to be a 5.9. It's always bottlenecked by it. I could have the fastest fucking computer in the world, and then I have a regular, let's say a 2 terabyte SATA hard drive, and I get a fucking 5.9. That is the lamest thing in the world. I usually just ignore that one anyway. Anyway, okay. I'm gonna go. Everything works. So, recap. If you're still here, you're probably not. You probably shut this off long ago. Foxconn C51X something motherboard. AM2 socket, not AM2 Plus. And I chucked in an AM2 Plus with a BIOS upgrade. And the details, a hacked BIOS upgrade. Details in the previous video, so check that one out if you need that. Anyway, that's all I got. Bye.